We begin the next conference. Elisabeth Kassen, with a master's degree in European Union competition law and over 20 years experience in this area. Elisabeth joined Orange Group in September 2001 from France Telecom, where she was recognized as the regulatory and competition law expert. She subsequently became Vice President, Group Regulatory and Spectrum Policy, and is currently Senior Vice President, Group Spectrum Office for Orange Group. She also chaired the Spectrum Management Group of the GSM Association for 4 years. Elisabeth, have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Enrique. And thank you, the Colegio, to invite me, as well as thank you to my colleagues from Orange Spain that they decide that I will represent Orange here in this important event for you. So I would like to start by, as you can see from my presentation, the title of the presentation is 5G, the potential to revolutionize the way that we live and we work. But first of all, what I would like is to start with giving to you some figures about telecommunication. Is what we call the digital revolution. So we spend more than 3.2 hours daily on smartphone on top of the screen time, so on top of your computers. Worldwide, there is 3.6 billion internet users, and by 2022, there will be 29 billion connected objects. There is also 5 hours of video posted every minute by YouTube users. So in June 2017, mobile subscriber worldwide is 5 billion people, 2/3 of the population, and 30% of the growth is coming from India. Before we start with the 5G, I would like to give just a few words about Orange, even if I know that, you know, we provide the coffee, but on top of this, we provide telecommunication. We provide mobile, fixed telecommunication. We are 263 million of customers, and you know that in Spain, we have 14 million customers, fixed and mobile. There is 150,000 employees. Most of the employees are in France, but we have plenty of employees outside of France. We are, the 4G is developed in 18 countries. Spain, you know, is 14 million of customers. And also, as you can see in our figures here, the strategy of Orange is try by 2020 to offer to our customer an unmatched experience. Means that we want to connect all our customers by all means everywhere where they are. And also Orange has tried to diversify more or less their asset because from long time, as you know, the European operator, due to European regulation, we have some problem in terms of investment because regulation has been tough this last year or 15 years, and the revenue are not there. So our capacity to invest in innovation has been really stopped. So I will come back on this point with 5G. So from long time, if you want, Orange was thinking in diversify more or less our activity, and this is why we are exploring from Africa, but now in Europe, what we call Orange Money, which is a new stream, if you want, for us. Where we are, so my colleague from Telefónica, as you know, they are in this part of the world. We decide that we are in Europe and we are most of the country in Africa. So we are in 29 countries, really physically providing fixed and mobile, but through Orange Business Services, which is the services that we offer to multinational companies, we are in 2020 countries. So we are really an operator worldwide. We have a lot of challenge, of course, in Africa, but the challenges are also in Europe, and we are working in preparing this 5G. So I'm coming back to the more basic things about 5G. As you can see on the table, why 5G could be revolutionary. So I have put here all the technology that you have from 1G to 5G. More or less the life of the technology is between 10 years. Between each technology, you have the life 10 years. But it's true that on top of these 10 years, you have 10 years more to close the technology. My point here is to show you two things. First of all, 5G is not only about speed, it will be a true revolution for our network as an operator. And the second thing that I would like to show you is the fact that the 5G is not only about speed, it will be another things. And the 10 years, so today the problem that we face to prepare the 5G is just because our network do not support one technology only. We are not on this 4G only. We are still supporting no 1G, but 2G, 3G, and 4G. And now we are pushed on 5G. I'm giving here the vision of an operator, of course. I'm not a vendor, and we are pushed by vendor. Because for us, 4G is not still, is mature, but we have still a lot of capacity on 4G. So we are not yet on 4G advanced. So we are still sometimes, and this is why we are more cautious about 5G, because we need to manage all our customers through this old technology. This is why 5G needs to be really different. And 5G will give us a flexibility, which is something that we do not have today with 4G. When we operate for 4G, we operate 4G for all our customers everywhere. 5G is something different. It will be a network which is flexible, an hybrid network, which will be flexible. Flexible means that the operator, we need to tailor the need for the different industry. So we will have the main network, and after we will have what they call the network slicing. So what is different in the 5G difference? As you know, as you can see, there is the performance, so for the data speed, but as I say, it's not exactly like 4G, because the speed will be comparable with what we say the fiber. There is the latency, and the latency, you know, because you are engineer better than me, what is exactly the latency. We will have also the higher density of devices, meaning that our network needs to support a lot of devices on the same time. And we also, the performance of the 5G will be also to lower the device power consumption. This is why the manufacturer work a lot on the battery life on one side, and on the other side on the energy of the network. In terms of software, the flexibility that 5G will give us is because we can separate the software and the hardware. So first of all, it will be less expensive for us. We will not be obliged to have only one supplier. We can have one supplier for the hardware, but for the software, we can dimension the software according to the needs of the industry. And in terms of configurability, it is what I call the network slicing, is what I say the hybrid of the network, means that we will have one network and we will have the slicing, which means each industry could be connected to our main network, and we tailor the need in terms of performance. I will show you later on just a big picture. So in a nutshell, if you want, the 5G will be an hybrid network which meets telecom and IT. So we need to modify as operator, and you as engineer of telecommunication, because I know in France we also, my company is plenty of engineers of telecommunication. And I take the opportunity today to tell you that you need to change you need to change because it's not anymore only telecommunication. You need to become also IT. We need to understand. And in Orange, we are trying to do this transformation. Means that the people need to understand much more about IT. We are not Google, we are not Facebook, we are not a developer, but we need to become or to understand a little more about developer. So there is big trainings in our company, but I suppose in Telefonica also, because it was not our culture. So for us, the 5G is really important. The transformation is a big transformation in terms of our business. So in this picture, I want just to show you that on one hand, what is exactly that 5G could deliver. So you can see for the individuals and for the business. In a nutshell, 5G will be a combination of speed, machine-to-machine type communication, and also ultra-reliability, low latency communication in the network. So you have the individuals, but I will not come back. You have the connectivity, you have the smart cities. As you know, what we understood by smart cities is in terms of management. We will have the capability to manage the traffic, all these things that we need. The smart home is your ability to manage your home when you are abroad or when you are outside. And for the business, you know, a very application that they need really a latency, for example, is what we call the e-health for remote surgery. We have the automotive, and we have the smart transport as well as the utilities. So just an example of what the architecture of the companies are working on. Is like a spider, and I have seen that in your logo you have like a spider like this. This is more or less what is a network, what will be the 5G network. So in terms of factories, and you can see in the different that you can set up your network following the need of the industry. So it is really interesting because you can manage the traffic as you want, and if you manage the traffic and if you spend less money in terms of hardware, etc., I think in terms of CapEx will be better for our industry. All discussion about 5G today are dominated by technology discussion. But once the technology discussion will be set up in terms of standardization in the 3GPP, is also for us to understand where is our business case. Because I can tell you that today in the operator industry, we are ready for 5G, but as I say, we are still working on 4G. And I think what we need is to have some business case, or at least we need to understand the benefit of the 5G on top of this. So here is a figure that has been provided by the European Commission in order to understand the benefit and the economic value for Europe by 2025. In terms of timing, as you know, 5G is not expected before 2020. The trials and the preparation will be before, but what we call 5G will be 2025. So the European Commission has done this analysis, very interesting. So what they have done, they have identified, if you want, the benefit generated by the consumption of the 5G, split by industry market support and the adoption of the new ways of doing things by the government, because the government will have much better access to the data. I suppose that you can read this, but what is interesting is, as you can see, for EU, the automotive is really the best use case of the 5G to start with. Is done by 42 billion. So the first order of benefits, the amount will be 62.5 billion by year in 2025. And this 62 billion will be split 63% by business and 37% in for customer. The second slide is part of the same study, so is the wider benefits, So it will be the benefit generated in 2025 in a wider environment by others using the services, split by political and factor support. So as you can see, there is more the smart city. That there seems to be, and you see why, reduction in congestion, in accident, pollution reduction. The non-urban is the fixed infrastructure, better connectivity, etc. So I think this study was very interesting. We were involved, and but we are still thinking that as operator, we do not see a lot of benefit for us. So we are thinking about how we can monetize the 5G, because this is a benefit for Europe, but as an operator, we need to see the monetization. So once we have said this, what we need to do that for us, that 5G will be a reality in Europe as well as worldwide. So I think this is a message that I think is very important for all the people involved in telecommunication. First of all, in terms of policy at European level, we need to have much more flexibility to deploy our base station, because we need much more base station, and we need also to deploy what we call massive MIMO. But massive MIMO is a technology which is not yet in the market, but we will need to have this flexibility, because we need to deploy this antenna that they will cover much better than the actual technology that we have. But on the other hand, in Europe, we have a regulation that I don't know if you are aware, that we can't emit more than is what we call the EMF regulation. And with the massive MIMO, it seems that this regulation could not fit. So we need the help of the regulator to help us, or to lift the regulation, or to see how we can put new technologies and benefit for everyone. And we need also to have much more fiber and speed for the backhaul connectivity. In terms of investment, is what I say at the beginning. Now, the European operator for a long time, we have really a tough regulation. And this tough regulation in Europe, at the end, they harm us in terms of investment. So what we need to develop 5G is to have attractive conditions for research and development. And we need to have also greater harmonization at EU level to benefit of the economy of scale. In terms of spectrum, which is the blood of the 5G, we need to make more spectrum available for 5G use. We need to have spectrum pricing policies that they enable us to have efficient use of spectrum without undermining investment in network deployment. And you will see, if you read a lot of literature, as we say in France, about spectrum, or everyone said that, even from the US, that we need to share our spectrum, because spectrum is a scarce resource, and now the mobile industry need to understand that we need to share with satellite, with TV, etc., etc. In fact, in Orange, we think that the best model from the time being is to have this exclusive license, as we have for 2G, 3G, 5G, and perhaps to have in some hotspot or something like this specific sharing, but not to have this spectrum sharing as a model. So let's come back to the spectrum. What we think that we need to have the 5G. You know that as a mobile network, we need to have a mix of spectrum to deliver our business objective. We need to have low frequency, which is below 1 gigahertz. We need to have big quantities in order to meet the capacity demand of the future 5G. And what we need, which is different with the other technology, is large contiguous block to meet speed requirements. When I say large contiguous block, for example, in Orange, what our target, but I think Telefonica and Vodafone will be more or less the same, is to have at least 100 megahertz in each block of the 3.4, 3.8 in order to deliver what we think that is the 5G. In terms of specific band, the European Commission and the vendor, we have identified that there were 3 pioneer bands, the 700, but as you know, the 700 megahertz is occupied by TV, and from the time being, only France and Germany, they have give the 700 we pay for the 700, but we have in France and in Germany 700 megahertz. 3.4, 3.8 is the main spectrum that we need to have because if we want to deliver this in 2020, 5G. And we need also to have this 26 gigahertz will offer fiber-like speeds. If you look at this 26, what you need to have in mind is in US, because I'm sure that you heard about US, about AT&T and Verizon, they are on the 28 gigahertz. And what they call, if you want the 5G, is more fixed wireless access. It's not what we think that will be 5G in the future. So the commercial 5G network, I think we will start in 2020 because the standardization will be not ready before. And we work as a company in all different entities where we are defining the standardization, the coexistence study between 5G and other services at ITU level. In my backup slide, if you want, you have something about the timing of the 5G. So 5G today, 5G, they say that it has been launched in US, Korea, Japan, and Europe. I think there is different approach here because when we talk about Korean and Japanese, what we call Asia, I think Asia is more looking at high-speed mobile data. US, they are more, when they talk about this 5G that they are deploying, in fact, is fixed wireless access. And Europe has chosen more an approach which is more cooperative, you know. They are trying to set up partnership between public and private companies in order to deliver what we think that 5G will be. But if we look today at this example, in fact, 5G is more close to our current business case than what we see on 5G future. And you know also that there will be a 5G network for Euro 2020 in Bilbao, Bucharest, and Brussels. So just to conclude my presentation, 5G, I think they can bring revolutionary capability for new world and new services. We can have a benefit for everyone at home, in our car, in our city, but the policymaker, regulator, and mobile operator need to work really closely to make this happen. Because from the time being, in terms of spectrum, which is one of the main importance of the 5G, we are not there in Europe. I don't want to conclude before I give you again some figures coming from GSMA Intelligence. So by 2025, 5G number connection globally will reach 1.2 billion. The first country will be Asia, North America, and after Europe. In Asia, China and Japan will be the leader, and after the US. In Europe, we will have only 212 million connections in 2025, with a leader that it will be Germany, UK, and France. So as you can see, Europe, we are well behind. And I think if we want really to follow if we want to be ahead with this technology, I think we need really to work more quick, not only on standardization, but on spectrum, on investment, to help the mobile industry in Europe to be ready for 5G in 2020. Because to be ready, we need to have the spectrum, we need to have the standardization at the latest in 2028. We are starting doing some trials. I know that in Spain, but we have also in France doing trials. But these trials are more close to our current business case because we do not have all the capability to do these true trials before the standardization finish. And that's it. I finished. Thank you very much.